Well. Wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Lock the Talk podcast, where you hear about NFL stars of tomorrow today. I'm your host, Barry Barnes, founder and CEO of locker-report.com. And you guys can always follow me on any one of my social handles, whether it's on Twitter at locker_report, on Instagram, lockerreport100, all small caps, on Facebook, lockerreport.com, and also Lock the Talk Podcast on Facebook. But most importantly, you must subscribe. Subscribe today. Do it like right now on YouTube. Subscribe to Lock the Talk Podcast when you'll hear about in-depth NFL news that you will not hear anywhere else on the globe. And also make sure on Fridays, check me out on the Bachelor News Radio Network, where you can listen to me live at 9 o'clock. But you go to their site and listen to this show anytime you want. Now, last week's Super Wildcard Weekend was exactly what it was. Super. A lot of great action that went on. A lot of good games that went in there, except for one of them. You probably knows what I'm talking about. However, the most important thing with regards to this show are the players who came through the NFL Regional Combine platform. Yes, talking about those pioneers, those legends, those trailblazers, those guys that made this platform what it is today. How several of these players are still in the hunt as they trying to help their team get to that point, the ultimate goal of hoisting the Vince Lombardi Trophy, becoming Super Bowl champs, trying to get to Super Bowl 55 in Tampa Bay. So that's the most important thing. Now, last week we're going to get right into what the players from the NFL Regional Combine did in Super Wildcard Weekend, and then we're going to jump right into what to expect in the divisional round. The divisional round, classic games, some classic players, legendary players that's going to be really showing out during the divisional round. But the only players that we are concerned about, the players that came through the NFL Regional Combine, these guys are doing it and playing on a high level, not just on a roster, just to say, hey, we made in the team. No, these guys out there playing, and we're going to get right into it. And you know what? I feel kind of funky today. I feel like in a good mood. You know, it's nothing like having a good old school background. So we're going to jump into some good stuff here. Now, last week, we talked about how the Buffalo Bills and the Indianapolis Colts is going to be a big game. And one of the big games of the week definitely had some big-time players from the Regional Combine platform. Now, in this matchup for the Indianapolis Colts, yes, we know they lost. But Kenny Moore II, player we've been talking about all year long, for the past couple of years actually, played a solid game, the best game he probably could play in that matchup. He finished with 5 tackles in that contest. Kenny Moore had himself a fantastic season. I thought for sure that he definitely was going to be a Pro Bowler this year. However, he didn't make it this year, but it's definitely in his future. The way how he went out and conducted himself on the field. 4 interceptions this season, first career touchdown on the season. So he has done what he was supposed to do to help the Colts at least get to the playoffs. So shout out to Kenny Moore for his excellent play for the 2020 NFL season. Now, for the Seattle Seahawks and for the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Seahawks, we know about defensive end Benson Mayowa. He finished that game with 2 tackles in that matchup, and we know that was a big turn. That was a big, I would say, surprise. Everyone thought for sure that Seattle Seahawks were going to win that game, but this is the best part about the playoffs. Anything can happen. And we saw the Rams go in there with a solid defense and did what they was able to do to shut down Russell Wilson. But to add to what their defense was able to do was their weapon on special teams. And we talked about him. Punter Johnny Heckler. Johnny Heckler had 7 punts in this game. And out of the 7 punts, he averaged 45.3 yards per attempt. So that's about half the field. So in that matchup, he was able to land one of the punts in the 20-yard line, on the 10-yard line, on the 49-yard line, and also the 18-yard line. The other 3 were pretty much within his 30s. However, it forced the Seattle Seahawks to work with a long field, something that we talked about in the show last week. Forced them to work on long fields, and when you have a long fields back-to-back, a lot of times you continue to give defenses chances to get to the quarterback, make the stops they need to make, and that's exactly what the Los Angeles Rams was able to do with that fantastic defense they have there with defensive tackle Aaron Donald, all-world Aaron Donald, able to do what he had to do with those guys to stop Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, and those guys advanced on. Now, the Washington football team faced Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, in this matchup, there's only one player to really watch out for, and that was Cole Holcomb, linebacker for the Washington football team. I tell you, he was all over the place in that game. He did everything, flying around the ball like he always do, chasing down the ball carriers like he did on this play here. This is something that Holcomb has become accustomed to in Washington as a hard-nosed, hard-playing guy, always playing, never take a down off. A lot of credit goes to him for him to be able to do what he did for the Washington football team this year. Now, we're going to continue to talk about him later on a couple of shows when we break down what the defensive players did from the platform and what the offensive players did. So make sure you hear about, make sure you listen out for this young man when I do the breakdown for my year to remember breakdown. Now, great game with Cole Holcomb in that matchup. Now, that kind of wrapped up what we needed to see as far as the players from the NFL Regional Combine platform, what they did during Super Wildcard Weekend. Now, we know what Pittsburgh Steelers left tackle Wendell Lariva. He was in that matchup. Jordan Berry had 3 punts in that game, one that was on the inside the 20-yard line, and Jordan Dangerfield definitely was out there doing his thing on special teams. So definitely want to give a shout out for those guys having themselves a great season for 2020 as well. Looking forward to seeing you guys ball next year. Now, so no further ado, we're going to get right to the divisional round of the playoffs. And the divisional round of the playoffs, like I said, it's going to be fire. You can tell because the music just got changed to something that's going to get me really riled up to really talk about this. Now, here we go. The Buffalo Bills versus the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, the Baltimore Ravens take a trip up to New York. Doesn't matter. This team is all about defense. Good defenses travel anywhere on the globe. So the Baltimore Ravens definitely going to Buffalo. But Buffalo, they have themselves some good defensive pieces as well. And we're going to focus on one. I'm going to focus on two, but primarily one, because one of these players pretty much going to get a lot of playing time. And I'm talking about defensive tackle Justin Zimmer. Now, Justin Zimmer, last week against the Indianapolis Colts, he played in 22 snaps. So that was about 28% of the plays on the defense side of the ball that he participated in that game. Now, he did not escape with a tackle in that game, but in that game, he did take on several double teams, help relieve some pressure for his defensive players to make plays on the field. So a lot of times, defensive tackles, their stats really don't pile up. Not everyone is like an Aaron Donald that can stack up stats, but a lot of times those defensive tackles will claw, take a lot of pressure off their ends so they can make the plays, and that's what Justin is specialized at. So make sure you watch out for number 61. Now, no telling if Mike Love going to get some playing time in the playoff game. We know that he had made his debut in Week 17 for the 2020 season for the Buffalo Bills. He did not take any snap during the Super Wildcard Weekend against the Colts, but no telling what may happen in this game. We know that in the Week 17, he did play in 42% of the snaps, 35 snaps to be exact, and 11 snaps on special teams, was at 31%. So no telling how he's going to be used in the bar. Then hopefully no one gets injured, but hopefully he do get some shine on the football field. So we definitely want to look out for number 56 if he get a snap out there in the field against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Cleveland Browns. Now, we know that the Cleveland Browns have one player in Marvin Hall II, who they picked up off of waivers from the Detroit Lions. He did not see the field last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Still probably starting getting himself acclimated. He did make some appearances during Week 16 and Week 17 for the Browns. However, watch out for number 18. He may get some shine in that game. But one of the things I love about the Kansas City Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, not only we know that they're the reigning Super Bowl champions, but they have several pieces from the NFL Regional Combine that's on there. Now, for instance, center Austin Ritter. Austin Ritter is almost flawless, basically. Austin had 12 starts this season, and he played in 867 snaps. So that's about 79% of the offense played from the Chiefs that he participated in. And he also was on 82 snaps from special teams. So that was like 19% of the snaps that he played on special teams. But this is the part that stands out about Austin. The entire season, all those snaps that he was participating in, all 867 snaps that he participated, he did not have any penalties at all. Not one penalty. Last year, when he took over, took over the center position, he had 5 penalties. All of them was holding. But this year, 2020 campaign, no penalties called on number 62. So that's huge. One of the things you recognize that Patrick Mahomes rarely get pressure coming in his face. You know, if he had pressure is when he try to roll out or on the edges. Up the middle, Austin Ritter is solid as stone, and that's where a lot of pressure do not come from. So a lot of credit goes to Austin Ritter for being able to help keep Patrick Mahomes untouched, coming right up the middle. Now, rookie Mike Dana, who would have gone to the NFL Regional Combine invitation this year, but it was canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We all know that. Now, with Mike Dana, he still had his name on the roster, so he still qualifies being one of those pioneers who came through the NFL Regional Combine. Also, he played at his ball at University of Michigan. This season, solid season. Now, in Week 17, he participated in 60 snaps. That was 83% of the snaps for the Chiefs. And also, he played in 4 snaps on special teams. But during the course of the season, this is the part that I like. Dana had finished the season with 25 tackles, and out of the 25 tackles, he had 2.5 sacks in this matchup. You see how he was able to get his first sack against the Los Angeles Chargers. Then he was able to get another sack when he faced the Miami Dolphins. This was the game where he got a sack and a half. He is relentless. As you can see here, he's not going to stop. He's going to fight. He's going to fight off the edges to get to the quarterback. Solid young man. I love the way how he's being used. Steve Spagnuolo is really using him, moving him around to show his athleticism and his speed to be able to get to the ball carriers, but most importantly, putting more pressure on the quarterback. So make sure you watch out for number 51 in Kansas City Chiefs when they go up against the Cleveland Browns. And also, now, this young man, I would say that I've been a huge fan of for a very long time. And we talking about defensive end Tim Ward. Now, Tim Ward came through the process in 2019, but when he got picked up by the Chiefs, he sustained an injury and he was out on injury reserve. This year, coming in healthy, getting himself acclimated with the defense. The Chiefs did not let him go. So a lot of potential in this young man. This young man is 6'6", 200, and nearly 260 pounds. But he is big. He is ferocious. He was able to make his debut in Week 17 when he was able to go against the Chargers. Yes, the Chargers. He opened up with 5 tackles, and one of the things that him and Dana has in common, they both received their first NFL career sacks against the Chargers. So you can see here how he was able to get to Justin on this play here to bring him down for his first NFL career sack. So congratulations to Tim Ward. Tim Ward was promoted in Week 17. Now, no telling Steve Spagnuolo, he's a solid defensive coordinator. Have no idea how he's going to be used. But somehow, some way, they're going to see number 90 on that field. So watch out for Tim Ward as he gets out there and show what he's going to do against the Cleveland Browns. Hopefully he gets some snaps out there, but I think the long-awaited part has been over for the Chiefs. I think they're ready to see what this young man is going to do, playing on a high level. It's going to be some great things from this young man, knowing that in Week 17, he played in the 57 snaps of the defense, giving about 80%. So I'm looking out for that. Now, Green Bay Packers. Now, this young man, we talked about him all season long. This should not be a surprise. That's why I wait to talk about him last. And yes, we talk about tight end Robert Tonyan. Robert Tonyan has been phenomenal. In this season alone, he had 8 starts. Now, this is a good stat kill. Now, this may sound funny, but this is true. This is what he did this year. This is true. I'm not making this up. I'm not that smart. He was targeted 59 times. And out of those 59 targets, he caught 52 passes. Now, what is remarkable about that, those other 7 passes that show up on the stats as targets that he may have missed, those 7 passes was uncatchable balls that was thrown in this area. The other 52 passes that was in this area, he caught them. So technically, he did not drop a pass all season long. All season long, he did not drop a pass. Yes, it showed he was targeted 59 times, but I watched every game from this year, and all those 7 passes was passes that were just uncatchable balls. That's for Aaron Rodgers to get the ball out of his hand. But it went towards him. It was targeted. That's how it comes up. But that's how it came up. But that young man did not drop a pass all season long. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. Really shows how much he cared about the game, his body, his health, his respect, how he put himself as a complete professional during the off season and definitely on the playing season. So he wound up finished this season with 568 yards and most importantly, 11 touchdowns. 11 touchdowns. He crossed that end zone 11 times, averaging 11.3 yards per carry. So we want to watch out for what he's going to do against the Los Angeles Rams team. Not only can he catch, but he's a pure blocker. He's a total tight end, solid guy, working with some of the best tight ends in the league, like San Francisco 49ers tight end George Kittle, working out with surrounding himself with some good players that played with the Packers, even Jimmy Graham, who he had to sat behind for a couple of years. I'm telling you, watch out for this young man, number 85. He's going to do some great things. Now, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and for the Saints game, only thing I would say in this game is just going to be crickets. They do not have a player from the NFL Regional Combine that's going to be playing. However, the Saints do have 2 players on their roster. Tight end Jason Vender Land, who actually took off this year because of COVID. He actually opted out. So we'll see him next season. But they have a wide receiver. I'm telling you. This guy, Jake Lampin from Ferris State University, Division II power. He came through the process several years ago, I believe in 2017, 2018. I'm telling you. You look at the Scotty Millers for the Bucks. You look at, the Cole Beasley for the Buffalo Bills. Heck, you do the Julia Element of the world with the New England Patriots. I'm telling you, this young man is very much like these guys. Probably won't get no playing time, but he's not going to play this year. Hopefully still with the team as they pursue their quest for the Vince Lombardi Trophy. But when he gets his opportunity next year, I'm telling you, Sean Payton is going to find something in this young man, and he's going to do some great things in the league. So watch out for Jake Lampin for the New Orleans Saints. Now, listen, I'm telling you, you got to follow what's going on here. I'm giving you some Mac Daddy vibes, some stuff over here. Come on, this is what we do here at Lock and Talk. Make sure you guys follow. Make sure you guys watch all those games and enjoy the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. I am Barry Barnes, your host, founder and CEO of Locker-Report.com. And like I said, time and time again, make sure you guys follow me on any one of my social handles on Twitter, at Locker_Reports, on Instagram, Locker Report 100, all small caps. On Facebook, LockerReport.com, and also Locker Talk Podcast on Facebook. But the most important thing I'm trying to get you people to do, and it is growing, subscribe to the channel on YouTube at Locker Talk Podcast, where you get some good sources of NFL news that you will not see anywhere around the world, this planet, this place around here. You're not going to get it nowhere around here. And also make sure you guys tune in to the Bachelor News Radio Network every Friday morning at 9 o'clock. But you can go to that site, listen to the shows anytime of your leisure. Listen, everyone stay safe out there. Do what you got to do to make sure everyone is protected around you. And we're almost there, folks. The light is like right there. We can see it. It's showing right there. Everyone stay blessed. Enjoy this weekend. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's go.